What if I was to say that a craving is less I want and more I want to feel different? It's your system asking for a shift. It's not a sign that you have weak willpower or that you're failing somewhere. And we can often beat ourselves up thinking that this is a sign that our willpower is somehow weak or feeble and we are failing at something, when in actual fact it's a perfectly natural thing to happen. It's something that happens when our body or our mind realises that there's something we're uncomfortable with and it wants to change it so that we feel better. But here's the thing, it's quite often connected, especially as we get older, with outcomes that are quite unhealthy. Like alcohol, comfort eating, drugs. These end up as our go-tos because we've got used to it. It's an easy thing to get to. It's an easy way to get that shift in state, that way of finding relaxation, that way of finding an escape or comfort or whatever. But it doesn't have to be that way. We can find ways where we can end up with an alternative result, with something that ends up with the outcome that our body or mind wants, that shift in state that we want, but with a more healthy outcome, a more healthy way of getting there. Cravings come about because we are triggered, and that trigger comes about because our body realises that there's something we're uncomfortable with, our system realises that there's something we're not happy with, and it wants to change state. And this can come from all sorts of places. It can be internal, external, or situational. The internal triggers may be coming from a sense that we are tired, or upset, or lonely, or even hungry. Any of these things can trigger us internally to want to change state. The external ones are the things that are caused by the people around us, by the environment that we're in. Maybe it's too noisy, too warm. Any of these things can end up with us being triggered. The situational triggers, I think, are a bit more insidious. These are the things that can be caused by transitions, changes in our lives, endings, uncertainty in the world, or even just having to wait for results, wait for an outcome for something. These are more the situation that we're in that's causing it rather than anything else. And these can creep up on us without us even realising quite often. So here we are, we've got the triggers that are caused by something that's happening externally, internally, or situational, and these are cropping up in our minds and in our feelings as cravings, where we want something. We don't know what it is, we just know that we want to be in a different state. So it's worthwhile figuring out what that state is, maybe checking in with yourself when something like that comes up, maybe realising that what's actually happening is that you are tired, you are thirsty, maybe you're not happy with the situation, maybe it's too noisy, you need to escape from that. So rather than ending up with a default of, when I leave work or when I get home or over dinner or watching TV tonight, I'm going to have a drink, I'm going to eat lots of pizza, whatever it is, whatever's unhealthy, you think, what's more appropriate for me right now? And that ends up with the better outcome for you. Now, sometimes when the cravings have got us, when the triggers are really firing and those cravings are really powerful, or we're just tired, or any of the things that can get to us, sometimes the last thing we want to do is do that analysis, is sit down and go, okay, where am I right now? And in those cases, there is a thing, I called it a dopamine buffet, but sometimes it can be called a dopamine menu. Dopamine obviously helps us. The body uses it to try and push or pull us towards that changed state, towards feeling something great. And that's why, for instance, the alcohol and comfort food, especially things that are rich in carbs, help us a lot because they give us a big dopamine boost. We can actually write down or stick it in our phone or something like that, somewhere that's easy to get to, effectively a list of the things that we know give us. And that's why it can be a very personalised thing. The things that give us as individuals that dopamine boost, and not something we're going to find too arduous to do. It'll be something that we enjoy doing rather than taking it on as a task that we've got to do. But we can also scale it, so you can actually put it into the sizes that you need. And remember, what you're taking away here is the having to make the decisions, the having to do the analysis. You can be going, well, actually, I just need a bit of a lift. So I'll go to that list. And I know that maybe getting up and getting a wee shake or a stretch or something is going to release enough dopamine in me that I'll feel a bit better. Or maybe I need something a bit more. So in that list, there's something about going to the gym or going for a run. Something that is that bit more, or something that's a bit in between. So you might have your light snacks or something in another list. And I don't mean actual snacks, I mean in a list of light dopamine snacks, if you like. And that helps you get an idea of what will help you without too much effort and be appropriate for where you are, how you're feeling, and getting you into that shift of state so that you don't end up going by the defaults of alcohol, comfort food, anything like that. You end up with a more healthy result. So there we have, we know that cravings are a sign that our systems want change. We know that it can come from a whole load of different kinds of triggers, the external, the internal, the situational. And we know with a little bit of effort beforehand, we can create our own lists of dopamine hits that we can choose from when the time comes without much effort, and that they're sized appropriately. The amount of people over the years who, when they've been fancying a drink, that I've heard, one of the things they've said is, I can't go out walking or I can't go out running every time. No, you can't, because sometimes we don't have the energy. Sometimes it's just too much to do. But having that list of things that are more appropriate helps us a great deal. I'd love to hear if you have something to add to that list. What's your favourite dopamine boosts that help you shift that state, help you feel better? What's your favourite ones? And what sizes did they come in? What's your small hits? What's your big hits, medium hits, and what have you? Stick them in the comments, share them. It can inspire someone else. And you never know, you might get a few new ideas as well. If you found this video useful, I'd really appreciate if you could like and subscribe. If you want to contact me about anything, feel free to get in touch. And hopefully see you in the next video. Thanks very much. See you soon. Bye.